This is the Brewers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Magic running out for our Milwaukee Brewers at American Family Field. Had many chances in this one, just could not capitalize. They fall to the St. Louis Cardinals in Game 3 of their 3-game series. This one by a final score of 3-2. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Locked On Brewers postcast. My name is Brandon Snide. You can follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Brandon_Snide, and follow Locked On Brewers on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Quick reminder, we are free and available wherever you guys get audio podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon. Wherever you get audio podcasts, you can get the Locked On Brewers postcast as well. And for those of you on video that love to see our beautiful faces, no sarcasm, of course, there, you can find us over on YouTube as well. Just go to that search bar, type in Locked On Brewers, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, get notified when we go live, and do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button for me if you could. We will get into a lot on this program. The Brewers falling to the Cardinals 3-2. They do take 2 out of 3 in this series. We'll talk about the Brewers bats because the opportunities were there offensively for this Milwaukee Brewers offense, and they just couldn't capitalize. So we'll discuss that, those missed opportunities. The Brewers do get the series win, and a good and bad thing here for the Brewers. The Cardinals obviously beating the Brewers, the Cubs winning, so the National League Central magic number not moving for the Brewers. However, the Phillies losing, so that helps Brewers maintain ahead of the Phillies with 2 games in the National League. The Brewers still owning the tiebreaker over the Phillies. So we'll kind of discuss that as well. And then your thoughts, your reactions, whatever you want to bring to the program after a 3-2 loss. I wouldn't call it a frustrating loss, but it was one where the Brewers certainly could have played better and where we've seen them play better. But you will always celebrate a series win, and that's no different for the Brewers. A 3-2 loss, but they do take 2 out of 3 against the divisional rival, who they will wrap up the season series with starting next Friday. So the season series against the Cardinals soon coming to a conclusion for our Brewers. Let's get into your scoring summary brought to you today by FanDuel, Prize Picks, and Nutrafol. And a different game than what we discussed on Saturday. We had 17 runs scored, 15 runs. My math is terrible. 15 runs scored on Saturday, just 5 total runs today. Jose Quintana getting the start for Milwaukee. Miles Mikolas on the other side for the St. Louis Cardinals. The Brewers, and this is kind of the one frustrating thing, I guess. I know I said there really wasn't a frustrating loss. I guess every loss is sort of frustrating in its own way, but the Brewers had Mikolas on the ropes, over 25 pitches in that first inning, and they just an opportunity just to kind of even a run or 2 in that first inning. Not the Brewers didn't score anything, but even a little bit of damage in that first inning would have done, I think, would have gone much farther in this game from Mikolas, who the Brewers, again, racked up his pitch count early in this one, but just could not capitalize early in that first inning. And they settled for not being able to score anything, even though they had guys in scoring position. The Cardinals scoring all of their runs in the second inning. That's it. That's 3 runs in the second inning for the Cardinals. A Pages sac fly, a Furman single to center, an infield single would score 3 runs for the St. Louis Cardinals in the second inning. Could have been much worse. The Brewers getting out of that jam. Jose Quintana, that is. He would go 4 innings in this one, just the 3 earned runs, but 4 innings, 67 pitches thrown for Jose Quintana. It's the 3rd time he's faced the Cardinals offense. He's a different game every time he's played them, right? He's had a really good outing. He's had a really bad outing. And today you just chalk up as a very outing. 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, and the 3 earned runs for the Cardinals over starter Jose Quintana. He does take the loss, falls to 11-7 now on the season, does Jose Quintana. And the Brewers, though, again, so many opportunities in this one, so many chances in the 4th inning. Caleb Durbin, who I put on Twitter at Brandon_Snide, just feels like, and I've said this multiple times before, Caleb Durbin just feels so much like a Pat Murphy player, right? Hard to get out, electric on the base pass, a stout defender. He has really grown into that third base defensively and offensively. I mean, he got the engine going last night for the Brewers in the 9th inning and in the 10th inning, albeit a hit by pitch. He's a tough player. He's a Milwaukee Brewer, and he looks the part. He plays the part. Caleb Durbin in the 4th inning with a home run to left field, 359 feet. Then the Brewers getting another run in the 5th inning. And this one had to feel good for Danny Jansen, who offensively has struggled. There's no doubt about it. There's no secret about it. Has struggled for the Brewers offensively since they acquired him from Tampa. He would homer to left center. That would cut it down to a 3-2 deficit for the Brewers, but just so many missed opportunities in this one. And it's kind of been anytime the Brewers lose, anytime there's a bad stretch of baseball being played, how many times do we come on this program? How many times are we talking amongst our friends or on social media and we're thinking, man, if the Brewers just could have had 1 or 2 big hits in this game, it would have been a completely different outcome. And that is no different tonight. That's going to bring us to our turning point today in a 3-2 Brewers loss to the Cardinals.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So many chances in this one for the Brewers, just so many. And the difference is really quite simple. And I know this is going to sound like we're beating the dead horse, but it's very quite simple. The Cardinals had 8 guys left on base. The Cardinals finished the day 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They put up the 3 runs. The Brewers, like the Cardinals, 8 guys left on base. Like the Cardinals, had 7 chances with runners in scoring position. The Brewers going 0 for 7. The Cardinals going 2 for 7. That's your difference in a ball game. The Brewers just unable to get that big hit in this one, unable to deliver the run. They had so many chances in so many different innings. It was multiple different innings. You know, we kind of mentioned it right at the beginning of the game where you had Michaelis on the ropes early in this one, and the offense just not able to get it done for the Brewers with runners in scoring position, 0 for 8, and that's the ball game. That's the difference between the two, right? The Cardinals didn't do anything special offensively, right? There's nothing that the Cardinals did. Michaelis was a very meh start for him as well. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, you know, kind of similar to Jose Quintana with the 4 and 3. But again, when you don't have those opportunities, you don't take advantage of those opportunities, certainly early in ball games. This is the outcome, unfortunately, that we see a 3-2 loss for our Milwaukee Brewers. A tough one. But again, the series win. They still control the season series. So we have 3 more in St. Louis next weekend, starting Friday. So another opportunity for this Brewers team to see that Cardinals team. Mathematically, I guess the Cardinals still technically in play for a wild card position, although they would need a lot of help. But still playing for something are the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Brewers will see them once again to wrap up the season series next weekend. Coming up after our break here, we'll talk about the player of the game, things you'll be talking about tomorrow, and of course, your thoughts, your reaction, and maybe some of your concerns today after a 3-2 Brewers loss. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with this can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your first $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy to your Sunday afternoon. So if you're ready to play, this is what you got to do. Download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. Once again, your first $5 bet hits, you get $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com to place that first $5 bet. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast also brought to you by Nutrafol. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like any of that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. It's the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people, and it's not just the hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. You can feel good about knowing Nutrafol is NSF certified and is backed by peer-reviewed studies. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering you, Locked On Brewers listeners, $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. A 3-2 loss for our Milwaukee Brewers. We mentioned it, kind of the turning point in this one. The runners in scoring position, a frustrating one for our Brew Crew and the offense, albeit an exhilarating win on Saturday night. You clinch your 7th playoff berth in the last 8 years and come up just a little bit short of completing the series sweep against the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's get into it. Your player of the game and a 3-2 Brewers loss.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Give credit where credit is due, and you know that's what we do on the program. Although it's a loss, although it's a frustrating one, the St. Louis Cardinals bullpen today stepping up big time in a 3-2 win over the Brewers. And we talked about Michaelis having a high pitch count early in this one. In 5 innings pitched, Miles Michaelis went 88 pitches. So the Brewers did exactly what they needed to do against him. He did have the 5 strikeouts against the Brewers. He didn't even allow a walk. So what's that tell you? That tells you that the Brewers were taking their pitches. They were fighting off good pitches and stringing up a handful of good at-bats. But the Cardinals bullpen coming through in the clutch, and they're going to get the nod for the Locked On Brewers postcast player of the game, unfortunately, in a loss. 4 different relievers coming in for St. Louis this afternoon at American Family Field and really shutting down the Brewers offense in the last 4 innings. Just 2 hits allowed for that Cardinals bullpen after Michaelis was relieved from the game from Ollie Marmol, and a fantastic performance for the bullpen. I mean, for the St. Louis Cardinals bullpen, we saw kind of an opposite story for them last night where they gave up a handful of runs in the 8th and 9th, and of course the walk-off for the Brewers in the 10th inning. A different story this afternoon for the Cardinals bullpen in a 3-2 win for St. Louis over Milwaukee, just shutting down the Brewers offense. And again, the Brewers had their chances, just could not take advantage of it, could not capitalize on it. A tough one. But again, you pick things up. You have an off day tomorrow, a kind of a quirk in their schedule a little bit with a Monday off day. It hasn't happened a whole lot this season. Usually Thursdays technically have been the norm for an off day for our Milwaukee Brewers, but they'll pick things back up on Tuesday. So a chance to, have a little bit of a break here and, get things kind of settled. We'll see what happens with Nick Mears. We'll see what happens with Trevor McGill, who are both slotted to come back relatively soon. Nick Mears throwing a bullpen session earlier today, and the Brewers are going to need it, right? We've had guys step up in their bullpen. We saw Aaron Ashby today. We saw Grant Anderson today, Chad Patrick, Jared Kanian, and Yoel Payamps as well out of the bullpen after Jose Quintana just goes 4 innings pitch. And you got to give it up to the Brewers bullpen as well. Maybe an honorable mention was for the Brewers bullpen as well. They were shutting down the St. Louis offense as well in this one. And again, a good performance. I think I said that the Cardinals only gave up 2 hits against the Brewers offense. The bullpen, 3 hits for the Cardinals offense, 3 hits for the Brewers offense against the Cardinals bullpen. But the Brewers bullpen kind of doing the same thing, right? On the other side, just Brewers offense could not get anything going. The Cardinals getting the win. The Brewers falling to 91-59 on the season. The good news, though, the Phillies lose, so the Brewers maintaining pace with the Philadelphia Phillies for that top spot in the National League. In the National League, and then the Cubs winning. The Brewers falling a game in the National League Central Division, although I think all of us here, outside of it actually being fully clinched, are basically chalking that one up as the Brewers going to win the division here shortly, just a matter of a couple of games here. But the Cubs do getting the win against Tampa Bay at Wrigley this afternoon. So the Brewers 5.5 up in the National League Central Division. Your thoughts, your reactions coming up after this. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. The daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. And with football back, it's the simplest and fastest way for you to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. Download the Prize Pick app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks, it pays to be right. A tough one for our Brew Crew. 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, leaving 8 guys stranded on the base pass. They fall to the St. Louis Cardinals. This one by a final score of 3-2. 91 now and 59 on the season are our Milwaukee Brewers. Again, Not a terrible game. Again, you could chalk it up as it was frustrating. They had opportunities in this one, but there's nothing I would be concerned with going forward with this Brewers team. And I know a lot of fans are, and that's why we're going to talk about the things you're going to be talking about, I'm assuming, tomorrow after a 3-2 loss.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Had a lot of people ask me this question. I've had a lot of people mention this on social media, in group chats, and just all over the places. Has this Brewers team peaked too early? Is there concerns? They've kind of been up and down, and things just haven't felt the same. And I will always remind people that when you go on an 11-game win streak and you go on a 14-game win streak, like, it doesn't feel normal to lose games, right? And Brewers 5-5 now in their last 10 games. I don't know if you've seen the video of manager Pat Murphy after the Brewers officially toasted after their walk-off win last night, Saturday night, 8-7 over the Cardinals. The letter from Bob Uecker, Christian Yelich's speech in the clubhouse. If you have concerns about this team, and again, a 3-2 loss today, I understand the frustration. I understand, wanting to win every game, especially against a divisional foe, one that's been struggling as of late. I understand all that, but I do not have any concerns with this Milwaukee Brewers team. I think they're completely fine. They haven't been fully healthy. You go back to the, after that 14-game win streak, that 5-game series at Wrigley Field, like it's felt different. But it's also because it has been different, right? You're dealing with injuries, in your bullpen, and they're kind of playing catch up, with a lot of these guys when it comes to Nick Mears and Trevor McGill and Abner Uribe in a different spot, and Chad Patrick and Tobias Myers, guys that have started games coming out of the bullpen. So it's been a bit of a learning curve for this Brewers team, but I have zero concerns, and I hope when you wake up and you celebrate a divisional. We'll eventually celebrate a divisional championship down the road, but you celebrate another playoff berth, that again, you take a moment to just enjoy it, recognize how hard it is to do what this team has done. Nobody projected them to win over 82 games this season. I'm not concerned, with the up and down play, the 500 ball over the last 2 weeks or so that we've seen from this Brewers team. And I certainly don't think that they've peaked too early ahead of the post game. Your thoughts, your reactions. Let's get into it. We begin with our everydayer G-Cap. Q proving how hard it is to be consistent with a starting pitcher. Haven't questioned Murph almost at all, but why the heck is Perkins hitting for Collins? Would rather see paint dry than him at bat right now. Yeah, Blake Perkins getting a couple of pinch hit opportunities today. And again, I understand, the frustration when it comes to the Brewers and certain lineups, but I've kind of pushed that in the back for me, on the rearview mirror. Like I've stopped questioning, certain moves. Like I understand it. Like there's a couple times where I'm like, I don't take Andrew Vaughn out of the lineup and they didn't, or I don't know how you don't start Andrew Vaughn and they don't, or Jake Bauers is another one as of late who's swung a hot bat, is another guy. When Murph went, stuck with the lefty on lefty last night for Jake Bauers, I applauded that as well. But I've kind of stopped questioning this team. Like, they've proven me wrong. Every time I feel like they are going to lose, every time I feel like this is it, they prove us wrong. They prove me wrong. I mean, so who am I to question G-Cap? I certainly understand your frustration because Isaac Collins, in my opinion, should be the National League Rookie of the Year. I know odds makers over at FanDuel, our friends over at FanDuel, maybe not seeing eye to eye right now, but he's been a heck of a player for this Brewers team. There's no doubt about it. And the big question, and I guess it's a good problem to have, still a problem, but is what's this team going to do come postseason when you have so many guys that have been productive? And we talked about it. And I personally think Blake Perkins is your defensive specialist in this situation. I don't take Isaac Collins out of the lineup. You obviously don't take Jackson Chourio out of the lineup, and you don't take guys like Christian Yelich out of the lineup. And I think other discussions can happen after that. Everydayer Harley over on YouTube, 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. That's been a problem these past few weeks. It feels like it's certainly, first off, you're correct. It has been a problem. It was a problem last night up until it wasn't a problem until the 8th and 9th inning, where they were, I believe, before the game ended, they were 1 for 7 at one point in that game last night, but they were obviously able to turn things around. But it certainly is. It's an issue. And that's the difference between being successful in the playoffs and not being successful in the playoffs, right? And it's timely hitting, getting good pitching, clutch, situations. And this is the question this team has to answer next, right? We clinched a playoff berth. We're going to clinch a division championship. You got to get back and get into the postseason and prove us wrong there, because that's obviously where it matters. Everydayer Charles, so close. Just a hit or two at the right time would have had this win too. Quintana, a little scary with the meltdown inning. They'll get them on Tuesday. Again, you score 1 or 2 in that first inning, it's a different ballgame, right? You had so many opportunities throughout the course of this one with so many guys in scoring position. Again, you finished 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. It was just a bad, you didn't get your timely hitting, like we saw last night, like the Brewers were able to do so many times over the course of their 91 wins this season. Just weren't able to get it done today. A hit or two, and like Charles says, in a big moment, I think this is a different ballgame. The Cardinals scored all of their runs in 1 inning. I mean, there was 1 inning where the Cardinals, the second to be exact, where Jose Quintana just couldn't find it. The Cardinals got a couple breaks, had an opportunity. They took advantage of it, and that was it. They plated 3 runs in the second inning, then we didn't see anything from the St. Louis Cardinals after that. The Brewers had so many chances. Let's wrap up with our everydayer Nick. Can't say anything that hasn't already been said. Taking care of a team like this doesn't bode well for the playoffs, but anything can happen. It's baseball. Let's go, Crew. And again, I think they're completely fine, right? You're likely going to get a top 2 seed in the National League. I know the Phillies have been really hot as of late. The Brewers still in control of their own destiny, right? With just a couple of weeks left of baseball, the 2-game lead plus the tiebreaker over the Philadelphia Phillies. We're going to eventually, within a week or so, be celebrating a divisional championship. So I'm not overly concerned with all of that. Things change in baseball, right? Like peaking too early or not peaking at all, or, not playing good baseball heading into the postseason. A lot of that can change right away. Like we saw with the Mets against the Brewers when they came here to American Family Field last year. They really weren't playing some of their best baseball until that series started, and then things started happening. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm done doubting this team. I'm done. And I think everybody should be. I think everybody should be done doubting this team. They've won 91 games. Nobody, including the experts, the analytics, nobody expected this team to win over 82 games this season. They're at 91. They have an opportunity to get to 100 wins. That hasn't been done. And it's been an up and down year, right? It was a slow start in March and April and certainly parts of May. They turned it on a little bit at the end of May into June, and then really turned it on in July and really turned it on in August. Have been kind of playing 500 balls since then. Haven't been healthy, but hopefully that changes going forward. I still believe in this team until they give me a reason not to. I believe in this Milwaukee Brewers team, and I hope you guys will as well. That'll do it for the program. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for always making Locked On Brewers part of your day each and every day. Quick reminder, free and available wherever you guys get audio podcasts. Also on YouTube. Go to that search bar, type in Locked On Brewers, hit that subscribe button for me. You can follow me on Twitter at Brandon_Snide. I mentioned it already. An off day on Monday. We'll pick things back up with the Brewers on Tuesday evening. Then a few kind of weird a getaway game as well in this week at a night game. So we got a handful of shows coming up for you this week. And a quick reminder, again, wherever you guys get audio podcasts, you can get the Locked On Brewers as well. We are free and available. A tough one for the Brewers, a 3-2 loss, but they do get the series win over the Cardinals. Some good things that happen in this series and celebrate their 7th postseason berth in their last 8 years. So good things happening for this Brewers team. We'll talk to you again. And as always, win, lose, or draw, it's always go Brewers. Have a good one, everyone. See you.